The Moʻolelo of Kalapana Ke Keiki Hoʻopāpā. The Moʻolelo centers around Kalapana and his hana Hoʻopāpā. Ho'opāpā is a contest of intellect and wit between two parties. It is very formulaic. There's a question and response, and the object is to be able to exclude the other person from being able to respond. The Mo'olelo begins with Kalapana's mother and father, the father traveling to Kauai to challenge Kalaniʻaliʻiloa, who is the chief of Kauai that became famous for Ho'opāpā. Kalapana's father travels to Kauai, challenges the ali'i, and loses. In doing so, he loses his life. Kalapana's mother, upon hearing the news, knows that she will fulfill her husband's wishes and train their son in Ho'opāpā with the intent of retrieving his iwi, his bones, from Kauai. After Kalapana is born, and when he reaches a certain age, begins to be teased keiki makuaʻole, or parentless child. When he returns to ask his mother about this, she explains to him the circumstances surrounding his father's death. At this point, Kalapana also becomes determined to learn Ho'opāpā and retrieve his iwi. Kalapana stays with his mother, who comes from ohana, a family of Ho'opāpā. Kalapana's two uncles are in the party of Kalaniʻaliʻiloa and were the two that had trained Kalaniʻaliʻiloa in Ho'opāpā. So essentially, they all come from the same source of training and information. Kalapana finishes his training with his mother, at which point he is sent to an aunt in Hilo. After finishing his training with his aunt, prepares to sail for Kauai. There were many steps to his preparation to challenge Kalaniʻaliʻiloa in Ho'opāpā. One important piece being his ipualono that carried many of his mea Ho'opāpā, including fish, kapa, and other implements that he would likely require in his contest against the ali'i. He crosses paths with two fishermen. The fishermen, seeing a child at sea alone on a canoe, ask him who he is and where he is headed. As they ask him that question, he responds in kind with a question. Initially, these fishermen interpret it as him being quite rude, so they continue to ask him questions, in which Kalapana continues to respond in that same manner of questioning. At this point, the fishermen begin to realize that he may be a keiki hoʻopāpā, and they ask him directly if he is a keiki hoʻopāpā, and he proceeds to ask the fishermen if they are makua hoʻopāpā. At this point, they fully realize that he has been trained, and it kind of rolls back some of that sentiment of insult or disrespect, because they know that his response was due to how he was educated, raised, and trained. Kalapana tells the fishermen his plan, where he is going and why, and he also asks them for a little bit of assistance as to how to get to Kauai. They oblige and give him a set of directions and landmarks to get to Kauai. Kalapana sails from Hilo. He's on the western portion of Maui. He finds surfers in Lahaina, at which point he simply asks them to confirm where he is, and then he proceeds on to go past Oahu, Kaena, and on to Kauai. When he arrives in Kauai, he finds himself in Wailua. As he lands, he encounters another adult. His initial impression of the adult's appearance causes him to laugh a little. At this point, the adult, feeling a little insulted by the child's response, explains to him that his appearance of his missing and cut hair is because the ali'i has required that of them for the building of a pa'iwi, which is where Kalapana's father's bones are. At this point, the adult attempts to help Kalapana, and Kalapana refuses the help because he knows that any help he might receive from a kama'aina, or a local person of Kauai, that help could be essentially used against him when he challenges the ali'i. The one piece of help that Kalapana did accept from the kama'aina of Kauai was where he should leave his wa'a, his canoe, as well as the vicinity of where the ali'i was staying, that was kapu. This ends up becoming the first step that Kalapana uses in his ho'opāpā against the ali'i. The initial perception of the community when Kalapana arrives to ho'opāpā against the ali'i is a little bit of surprise, confusion, maybe a little mistrust, because he is so young, challenging a group of adults. The Kauai community's initial perception is that he is very young, likely unprepared, and therefore going to lose in his ho'opāpā against the ali'i. As Kalapana beats the ali'i every single step of the way, the community starts to recognize his skill and intellect and starts to rally behind him because they foresee the defeat of the ali'i and the end of their mistreatment by the ali'i. Unfortunately, the original author passes away before he finishes the story. So we're all left to wonder how the story ends. Does he go back home and bring his father's iwi home to his mother? All of these things are left very up to our own imaginations, and I think ends up being one of the enjoyable parts of this particular mo'olelo. Kalapana, being such a cultural story centering around ho'opāpā, drew others to want to create an ending for this wonderful story. At one point, there was a version of the story. Kalapana ends up besting the ali'i and his group and retrieving his father's bones. Kalapana is not necessarily mischievous by nature as much as the perception of others, especially because of his age, when he responds to a question with a question, is initially always seen as rude. That's really not the case because he has been raised and trained in ho'opāpā, and in that training he is taught to respond in that format in which, as you are asked a question, you're gonna respond with a question, because that is the formula in which ho'opāpā is conducted. So one thing in Kalapana is how amazing it is to see how skilled and proficient he is as a child in something as difficult as ho'opāpā. And I think that part of that stems from not only his training, but the combination of his motivation and his interest in the topic that really helps to develop and further push him at ho'opāpā. And I think that's very relatable to most keiki, where you find that combination of motivation and interest, and really watch them develop these amazing talents and skills in a particular topic. In dealing with children that may seem mischievous or a little troublesome, but might be very intellectual, give them a lot of creative freedom, have a little more playful interaction so that they can express their creativity in forms that may not necessarily fall under norms within the classroom, because that freedom or that ability to playfully challenge a student can help to develop that intellect, as well as give the child an outlet in which they can express themselves constructively. So the ability of the kumu to adjust and adapt to the different learning styles of the keiki are more likely to produce a better learning environment and better results.